Hey everybody out there, John McClain here. On this episode of the Rental Car Review, we're going to be talking about the MAZDA CX-5. So let's get into it. Alright, so the MAZDA CX-5 that I got to drive around, I believe was a 2002. And right now, I think the pricing is somewhere around $26,000 for this particular model car. Now, I don't mind Mazdas, I don't mind Fords either, but like they're probably not my first go-to car, personally. However, let's actually get into the driving and some of the features and the pros and cons and stuff like that. And then we'll discuss a little bit later on about my final thoughts of the MAZDA CX-5. So obviously, a car this size, you should expect that there is plenty of space, which there is. The seats are nice and wide. There's plenty of head space. The steering column has quite a bit of maneuverability, so you can move it forward, back, up, and down. Still no tilt option, which, again, I feel like that's something that I personally would like on my vehicles, just because depending on how I want to drive, whether or not I want to be grabbing the bottom of the steering wheel or the top of the steering wheel, or have both hands on, or whatever. But you do have some play or customizability. I don't know. It can, for the most part, fit your body type. Now, one thing I do find a little uncomfortable: the center console sits where you can rest your arm on it very comfortably if you just have it rested down. If you want to be grabbing the bottom of the steering wheel, though, your right arm is going to be floating, and that's something that I wish wasn't there, because I kind of like to have my elbow resting on something while I'm also holding the steering wheel from the bottom. My Subaru has this option where you can actually slide the console forward, or the pad on the center console forward, to help you get that reach, and this one doesn't do that. It's fixed, and so that's a very nitpicky thing. But if you like to drive holding the bottom of the steering wheel, just know that your right arm is going to be floating, and you're going to kind of be wishing that you had something to rest it on. Okay, let's talk about the cruise control for a second, because there is something off about it. I had the cruise control set to like 80, 82. I'm on a 70 mile an hour road, blah, 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 right? But in the part of the country I'm in, if you're going 10 over, you're actually still impeding the flow of traffic, oddly enough. But, so I've got the cruise control set to 80, and it's not staying at 80. And I'm not going up a strong incline or anything like that, but rather the cruise control has dropped down to about 70. And I don't know, I just feel like that's a little weird. It's not quite doing its job, which is weird. Now, as far as the stereo goes, I gotta say, not a huge fan. Touchscreen, I feel, is, I know it makes you have to reach for the screen and physically have to touch things and stuff like that, but like this steering, or this wheel mouse clicker thingy, just, it doesn't work for me, okay? And here's a couple reasons why. First, you can rotate it to make it select the different icons, or you can push it up, down, left, right to move it. However, what you can also do is push to the right while letting your finger slip and accidentally rotate it, and it jumps, 2, 3 different icons and stuff like that. So it just seems to be a little bit more frustrating than it needs to be. I don't need to be sitting here playing a game of Pong while I'm trying to drive. I just need to turn my radio on. Okay, so as I'm going to try to remember to do every video, let's see what it would be like if I was driving and I had to sit in the back at the same time. Let's go. Okay, not terrible. Let's see how I actually fit. Okay, so I actually have a pretty good amount of headspace room here. The knees are into the back of the chair. If me as a 6-foot person was driving and a 6-foot person was trying to sit in the back, it'd be a little tight. But what I'm wondering, so there's like this little cavity in the back here that my knees are actually fitting into. Yeah, but you could feel that through this back piece. So while driving, probably not an issue. Boy, if we got into an accident, these knees would probably feel real good in the driver's back. But again, you could also do that. That kind of opens up a little bit of space. You know, you gotta spread the legs like a man in the car, or in the airplane and stuff, right? So, other than that, I mean, it's not headrests. So you can't adjust the headrest forward any, so, and that feels pretty far back. It's like they're encouraging you to sleep or something. You've got 3 seats back here with 3 sets of belts. There's AC vent here, and then of course you got the windows and ability to lock and unlock your own door, and then the oh shit handles. So pretty basic stuff, but I wonder. No. You cannot adjust these seats in any way, shape, or form. So I know there's some that you can like recline and stuff. This ain't one of them. That's light, not like a feather or something. Wow. You know, there's plenty of space back here. Let me just show you. Let's just make a very rough estimation here, right? So there's 1 hand, 2 hand, 3 hands, 4 hands, almost 4.5 hands. And I don't know what my hands measure. I'll have to get that number to you later. But man, that's pretty deep. And I feel like, you know, if you brought the chairs back maybe another 3 or 4 inches, that would make the legroom better. Like, if you need a lot of space, get a truck. Or, and you, I mean, you can fold the seat down anyway, so, interesting. Okay, so, I mean, I know I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I'll tell you right now, it took me a good 30 seconds of looking around the inside of this car to find out where the volume control knob was. And it made me think. Next to this big honking mouse clicking wheel that controls the stereo and heads-up display and all that stuff is this little tiny knob that's meant only for the volume control. Now, why wouldn't you just make that the volume control knob? My only guess is that someone was trying to justify their job, so they created a solution for a problem that just didn't exist. Wait, I found it. Okay, so I just had something else happen. You know, this car obviously has sensors. It helps you, like if a car stops suddenly in front of you and you don't stop soon enough, it'll apply the brakes. The problem is, what if you know you're not going to hit the car in front of you because you are paying attention, they just happen to slow down to make a turn, and it slams the brakes for you, and the cars behind you get really close all of a sudden. Yeah, that just happened. So, you know, the driver assist stuff, while sometimes it's kind of sort of helpful, I can understand. Other times it either just scares the crap out of you or is kind of more detrimental. Another thing that I did notice is, you know, streets here in Vegas are always under construction, and therefore the road cones will shift, but they can't shift the lines on the road. Well, when you're trying to drive to stay within the cones, but the car sees the lines on the road, it thinks you're drifting out of the lane and therefore tries to correct it for you, which then causes you to hit the curb and look like an idiot and maybe like you're drunk, but in reality you're completely sober, you're completely paying attention because you're trying to not hit any road cones, and you end up curbing the car. So, like I said, just sometimes the driver assist stuff, I get why the existence of it the majority of the time would help, but sometimes it just gets really annoying. You know, something else I'm noticing as I'm getting all these little shots and stuff is, man, I'm shaky. WTF. Sorry if y'all get car sick even though you're not in a car. Alright, so as far as the Mazda CX-5, what are my thoughts about it? Well, they definitely had some hits, but they also had some misses, and I think the misses are things that would be really easy to fix. For example, if you just shortened that back luggage compartment by like 2 or 3 more inches, you would give that much more room to those that were going to be sitting in the back seat, which I think would just make them so much more comfortable. And the back compartment was still huge. It could fit plenty of luggage. Plus, you can always fold down seats if you really need that much more space. So that was one thing that I was really kind of like, how did no one catch this? As far as the little rotating mouse cursor thing, that thing's gotta go. I will never buy a car with that stupid thing on it. It is more distracting. It can cause mistakes and stuff like that. But like I said, like when I was pushing it to one side, but like my fingers would accidentally like rotate it one click, then the menu thing would jump. So it was stupid. Whoever designed that or came up with that as an idea, I certainly hope they don't work in the car industry anymore and they can go back to making video game controllers or something like that, because that is terrible. The other thing, and again, small thing, but the volume knob separate from the big, that was stupid too. You should have just incorporated it all in one, or put it up on the regular dashboard like every other car so that no one has to go searching for it for 30 seconds of legit wondering, have I gone blind? Like, I know this car should have a volume controller on it, so where is it? Didn't make me feel good. And when I drive my car, I want to feel good about what I'm driving in. That made me feel stupid. Now, there might be some out there that like Mazda, like the name, maybe like the little gizmo-y things and stuff like that, and this would be a great car for you. For me personally, I mean, if I had to pick, I would go back to my Subaru Impreza, even though it's not as tall and all that kind of stuff, or even go with like the Crosstrek, which would be the little bit bigger, sportier model version of it, and it's going to be within the same price range. And I just feel like they build that car a little bit more towards, you know, what the person is going to expect and want out of their vehicle versus, hey, let's make this fun little gizmo. We don't know if people are going to like it, but it'll be different. It doesn't always mean that it's going to be good. It just makes you different, okay? So yeah, I don't know. Like if I had to rate it out of a scale of 1 to 10, okay, so 1 being a car that I would absolutely not like, I wouldn't even consider looking at, versus 10 being like the perfect car that it has everything that I could possibly want. I mean, I'd really give the CX-5 maybe like a 6.5 to a 7. Okay, like I said, like, yeah, it's got a lot of nice upgrades and features that, you know, I think a lot of cars should be coming with nowadays, especially with newer models. But as far as me personally, there are a lot of other vehicles that I have driven, even older models, okay, not even just 2022s and stuff. Like, I would sacrifice an older year car to get more of what I actually want and expect from a car than to get a newer car that has some of this stupid technology stuff. I mean, it didn't work for me. So that's my personal take. However, let me know what you guys think down below. Maybe you have a CX-5 and you think that I'm an idiot, then hey, feel free to let me know. I mean, I can't be wrong, and I'm not right all the time. So you know, that's how reviews go, that's how opinions go, and I think we are all entitled to say whatever it is that we think, although sometimes we probably shouldn't. But you know, that's another story for another time on another day. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm John McClain. Thanks again. Rental car reviews, brand new thing that I'm trying to come up with. I should have some more reviews coming up here soon, and looking forward to catching you on the next one.